If you've ever felt yourself procrastinating when you know what to do, if you've ever felt heavy, stuck, or scattered, even though your life looks good and successful on paper, if you've ever wondered, why am I still circling the same income level no matter how hard I push, this episode is for you. Hey, beautiful human, it's me, Rebecca Weiner McGregor, and welcome to another episode of Effective Immediately, the show where we talk mindset, abundance, leadership, healthy emotions, and I give you the subconscious shifts that will help you change your life effective immediately. All right, this is the reality check. This is your permission slip. The permission slip you get to give yourself, right? You have already created the six-figure business, but it came at a cost, right? There was maybe anxiety, pressure, pushing, maybe built on pure grit, right? Because you needed to prove yourself, or you felt like there's this inner fire that had to be followed, this inner path that had to be followed. But it came at that cost of anxiety, the pressure, the maybe even resentment. You have felt that pushing feeling, that chasing feeling, that not quite enough feeling. Emotional suppression doesn't just numb the pain. It numbs the joy. And that's why wins now probably feel flat. Because when you create something with on a foundation, with the foundation of survival, pushing, chasing, fighting, pressure, that's what becomes the norm. That's what becomes the foundation. And I've mentioned this many times. You probably heard me say this before. When the subconscious mind builds a wall to block out a storm, it also, that same wall blocks out the sun. That's why we start to feel diminished. That's why we start to feel exhausted. That's why we're not noticing and feeling joy in the wins. We're not feeling the depths of gratitude that we used to. So if this is resonating with you, I want you to give yourself a breath and, of course, move forward with curiosity, not blame, because this isn't about your conscious mind, right? These weren't conscious decisions. This isn't just about your mindset being positive, right? This is about your subconscious mind. Let me move that glass, which profoundly influences your nervous system. It's all the things that you've been through in your life, all the things that you've been through in your business. All of them are providing your subconscious mind with data of how to feel, how to be every single day, how to be in every bit of action or inaction, how to feel, how to show up to your meetings, how to show up to your sessions, how to show up to opportunities. Your subconscious mind is influencing all of that. It's not the thoughts that you're thinking, right? I talked to a brilliant woman yesterday who made the decision to become my client. And if she could move all this stuff by herself and regulate her nervous system by herself just by thinking, she would have done it, right? If it was something happening in your conscious mind and you could think your way out of it, you would have. So once again, I'm going to tell you to give yourself a break. I know you're brilliant. I know you're here for a reason. I know that you have a passion and a desire and many goals and a big vision. And if all of that were possible just by thinking about it, you'd have it already. So give yourself a big break, okay? And just lean in and listen to the fact that this isn't about your strategy. This is about your subconscious mind being on hypervigilance for you. And it could be fear of success. It could be fear of failure. It could be a little of both. It could be that thing that you made a mistake about when you were a kid and you've been trying to make it right ever since. It could be so many millions of things, so many moments in your life that have contributed to the way that you feel right now. So just give yourself a break. Try not to judge. Just look at the data, lean in, and lean in with curiosity here, okay? So I had a client who had hit that 100-figure mark easily. She had set up her business in such a way that it felt easier to get her to that 100K level. But she felt like she was carrying bricks in her chest all the time. She felt like she was going to have a heart attack every time she opened her laptop. When we regulated what was happening at the root of that feeling and calmed her mind and body, her ideas were able to flow. That opened up so much for her. We shifted just some internal things that weren't happening in her conscious mind. They were happening on a deeper level, influencing her success. Her next 30K came in with peace and play. And now I might lose some of you when I say play, right? Because you have been conditioned, maybe by yourself, maybe by what you thought you needed to do, but you've been conditioned that play is childish. But when you're having more fun, everything gets easier. How do I know this? Because when I'm having more fun, everything gets easier too. But fun and play are fuel. Fun and play get you out of your head and into your body. Fun and play, when you are really in that feeling, opens up your creativity, opens up your intuition, allows you to hear divine downloads, to connect with your intuition so much easier because you're not trapped in your head. Because all that good stuff, all that intuition, all that good stuff comes through your body. By the time it's got to your head, it's already been through all the filters. And it's not as much fun as it was when it came through as your intuition. We'll talk about that. We've talked about that a little bit before. We'll talk about that more again. What I know to be true is that you did not sign up for a business. You did not sign up to build a business, create a movement just to be exhausted. You built it so you could feel alive and in your passion. So give yourself a breath, and I want you to be super loving with yourself, because most high-achieving women have had just enough trauma, just the right amount of trauma that made them who they are right now, with that internal drive. That internal, I'm going to prove to everybody that I'm worthy. If I do this and I do a good job, then I'll get some attention. So they're operating from childhood survival responses like perfectionism, like overworking, overgiving, people-pleasing, and sometimes even hiding. And yes, it can be a whole combination of that, depending on the things that fueled this response in the first place. And let me tell you a secret. This is like an asterisk on my entire career. Everybody's got trauma. Everybody's got gunk. You don't get out of life without experiencing pain, grief, moments of doubt, guilt, shame, whatever. Everybody's got it. So this is not me calling out, hey, I see you've got trauma. You're my next client. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying, hey, you've got trauma, so you can't have things the way that you want them. No, 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 no. I'm saying you've had trauma. Everybody's had trauma. These responses that are formed in trauma, they're not a personality flaw. And I know we've talked about that before, but it feels so important to say, because when you're super high achieving, you might get down on yourself and think, why can't I get through this? Why is this the personality trait that I just, it's my nature to overthink everything. I see this a lot, especially on social media. Well, it's just my nature to be a workaholic. It's just my nature to, zone out and be on autopilot when I do X, Y, Z. It's just my nature to be a giver. Some of that is your nature. Some of it is from love. Some of it is passed down from your experiences. And I said that softly because I want you to remember. You are built on love. Your subconscious mind is trying to protect you. That is also loving. So we don't need to hate on the subconscious mind. We don't even need to blame the past, but we get to acknowledge the past. We get to acknowledge the experiences. This one woman that I worked with had an experience. She was like, I don't want this to be about my parents. I'm sick. I've been in therapy for 30 years talking about my parents. It's not about blaming your parents. The truth is they were doing the best they could with what they had. Just like you right now are doing the best you can with what you have. And we get to acknowledge the patterns that got you here so we can heal them. The version of you that went through all that stuff is still inside of you, desiring to be acknowledged, desiring to speak her truth, desiring to have her emotions validated. That's a huge part of this. So when we diminish all of that by saying, well, it's just my personality trait, it's just something that's wrong with me that I overthink everything. It's just something that's wrong with me that I, shut down or I get panicky at a meeting. It's just my nature. That is not true. And until you clear the root, you'll be hitting the same ceilings. You'll be operating in the same patterns. Even if you rebrand, even if you hire more coaches or sales team or whatever, even if you try to, out-strategize the feeling will still be there. One of my clients recently said, I just, when I started working with you, I just wanted to run away. And then I realized that, even if I just run away, then I'm still there, right? I don't remember who said, everywhere you go, there you are. But you can't outrun, you can't out-strategize this feeling. You have to and get to honor it, acknowledge it. You can start that just right now by being more loving with yourself, speaking more loving with yourself, and acknowledging to yourself, I'm not bad because I have this feeling. I'm not bad because I'm blocked, or whatever version of bad you've been using, right? Okay, so these emotional patterns, we know we can move them. And I want to acknowledge for you that you're not stuck because you're unmotivated, right? You're stuck because your subconscious mind is trying to protect you from a past version of pain. And stuck is painful. Stuck is actually the hard work. Coming out of this, healing this stuff is actually not as hard as feeling it. It's not as hard as living in this stuck where you can't get any traction. Healing it feels like effort compared to the hard work of what my friend called was walking through the slog. Okay, so let's acknowledge here what can happen when you're regulated, when your body feels good, when your mind feels good, when everything opens up, when you're out of those patterns, out of that autopilot, you're out of that perfectionism pattern and the hiding and all of that. Money is energy. And if you've been hitting that same ceiling, it's the energy, your emotion, your energy that's been impacting that, right? If your system doesn't feel safe receiving that energy of money, it won't stay or it won't expand. But when we regulate your body, when we work with your subconscious mind, calm your nervous system, and we recalibrate your identity, everything shifts. How you speak, how you price, how you lead. We calm your mind and your body and help you embody the identity of a multi-six-figure coach or whoever you want to be, if it's 7 figures or whatever. The identity of the person who creates the impact, who starts a movement. That's what's possible. Because your identity shifts from, well, I just overthink everything. I'm just an overthinker, to I am a leader of a movement and I feel it. I feel it in my cells. I feel it in my gut. I feel it in my heart. And I take action from that place. That opens up everything, because the next version of you then doesn't hustle harder. She magnetizes more by being more herself. And with that energy, when you're operating from that calm, confident energy, your words, your message pierces through all the BS and the confusion, right to the person that is your divine aligned client. It pierces through all of their confusion, and they can see themselves in your message. How does that feel? How exciting is that? That when you allow yourself to be calm, confident, open, your body feels good, your mind feels good, you're connected to your body again. What you can create is this wildly magnetic brand, this wildly magnetic mission, where the people who are meant to work with you find you so easily, because they can hear, feel, see your energy so easily, because you're not hiding, because you're not confused, because you're not overthinking. You're allowing your message to come out crystal clear. And you're embodying the identity of someone who does that. Isn't that freaking cool? Okay, I wanted to share a story here. I had a client who just could not crack that $12,000 a month without burning out. She just couldn't see her way out of doing that. And one session in our work together, she slept through the night for the first time in months. She actually slept. And within weeks, she had the clarity, and she had created this inner identity that was true to her, that she could raise her rates and have the energetic openness to receive clients when she wanted to. Now, what's interesting about this is when you're operating from an energized body and mind, right? Not one who's burned out, not one who's been overthinking, because burnout just isn't tiredness. It's so much more. When you can operate from that place of clarity, certainty, where your body feels good, where you feel open to receiving more clients, and then raise your rates just a little bit, you get to work with less clients with bigger impact and have more free time and more time to rest and more clarity, and you feel the flow of money. You feel that energetic boost when you get cash in. How all of that helps to calm your nervous system as well, and keep your nervous system calm and keep you going. But when you are feeling tense, scared, overthinking, all of that same stuff will probably put you in a stuck mode, probably put you into perfectionism, probably put you into exhaustion. It's all what's happening on the inside. Because if your life looked as good felt as good on the inside as it looked from the outside, we wouldn't be talking. It's not the circumstances in your life that make your body feel better. It's what's happening in your body and mind that make you handle your circumstances in a different way. And then your results are different. And I want you to feel good inside and out, so that you can break through that ceiling, that income ceiling that's been bugging you, like that you keep pushing against, so that you can have more and better of everything that you want. So you can have that next level vision, that next level identity. Because we all know we're here. We're people of growth. That's why we're here. And this is what you can create for yourself. What if your next 6 figures wasn't about pushing, it was about receiving? Receiving in a whole new way. All right, so let me give you your mindset, your internal shift of the week, okay? Put your hand on your heart. And I want you to think about some of your best qualities. Not the, I just overthink everything, I just overdo everything, I'm just too this or I'm just too that. I want you to think of your best qualities. I am passionate. I am strong. I'm a healer. I'm a coach. I'm a practitioner. I'm a whatever. Be in the feeling of that identity and let it feel good to you. Let you trust. Just let yourself trust that that feeling can expand. And it's not this thing like, oh, I wish I had never gotten into this. I wish that this could be so much easier. Really zone in. Really get laser focused right now on who you are at your core, who you are when you're operating from your passion, who you are when you are in your best energy, who you are when you feel free. That's who you really are. And anytime you get off track, anytime that you feel like you're going to put yourself down, you come back to the truth of who you really are. Powerful, passionate, visionary. Okay. If this resonates with you and you are ready to make some change, you're ready to clear out the gunk so that you can feel free, please send me a note wherever you see this. You know how to DM me. We know how all this works. You can find me. And take really good care of yourself this week. Okay? And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.